Over the last few weeks at school, we've been busy meeting and trying to find a way to focus our energy on coming up with a vision statement or a vision document that highlights and showcases where we want to go as a school in terms of not just technology, not just information technology, but technology. So the following presentation is one that I gave to our staff today, and I thought it would be a good idea to add some narration to it and share it with a global community as well. I start off with a couple of stories just to kind of get people into the right mood, and I wanted to start off with where most people, your average user, encounters technology. And it was this idea that technology can make us all feel crazy at times, and people are not unique in feeling frustrated with the technology. It's always a good idea, I think, to put yourself back at ground zero, no matter how technological savvy we all feel or think that we are. It's always good to kind of start back from the beginning. And I had an experience this weekend when I got my shiny, brand new, fancy new iPhone and realized that I really didn't know how to use this device. For all the presentations I've done and conferences I've been to, when given this device, I was back to ground zero. I didn't know where to start. I was overwhelmed with the number of applications and things that this phone could do. I felt frustrated because I couldn't get it to do exactly what I wanted to do. I was confused on how to sync up my mailboxes and make the Twitter client work. In short, I was lost and I was angry. And after this experience this weekend with the phone, I realized that lots of people probably feel this way. And the one thing I wanted more than anything was to have someone come and help me and show me how to do the basic things. The second story I started with today was the idea of this icon. And I asked the audience how many people recognize this icon. Obviously, it's the Keynote. And the reason I brought it up is because before doing this presentation, I had never really worked with Keynote. I just knew the basics, but I never actually did a full presentation with one. So once I got started last week, same thing. I didn't know where to start. I felt overwhelmed, lost, confused, frustrated, all the same things. But I spent the time, and I've been working on this presentation now probably a solid 15 hours or so. And, with my learning style of pushing all the buttons, reading the tutorials, asking people online for help. And the difference is between this and the iPhone is that I dedicated the time, or I've had the time. And basically what I've done so far is that I've learned how to use Keynote. And so that's the fundamental focus of this presentation, is this idea of choosing to be a learner, choosing to figure something out on your own. So as you can see, we started off with this basic vision statement, and the symbol I was going for is that vision statements can be muddled and difficult to read unless we unpack them and really take a look at what's going on. And so I broke down our vision statement into 4 statements that we'll focus on throughout this presentation. And we agreed as a group that the world is fundamentally changing. And so we'll look at how we define that for our school. This is forcing us to transform the way we learn. We need to begin empowering our community to help create ingenuous digital citizens. So let's take a look at what each of these things mean. We all know the world is changing. We know that it's fundamentally changing, and we can discuss and debate about why and how. But basically what we came up with was this idea that we're in the middle of the most significant era of change since the dawn of civilization. Things are changing dramatically. Information technology has transformed our lives in a myriad of different ways, from the way we acquire knowledge to the way we communicate. We are in the middle of an era where we have access to exponential explosions in knowledge and new ideas. And so what we wanted to look at is how does this affect the way we teach and the way we learn when anyone has access to information all the time from any place. We also want to take a look at that the world is getting smaller and happening in real time. When I was a young boy and I wanted to do research in school, I would go to the Encyclopedia Britannica and open it up to the S volume and look up Syria and find probably a paragraph about what was going on in Syria historically. But now, what's happening in Syria or places like Egypt or Yemen or a few years ago in Iran are happening in real time, and people are connecting using various technologies to bring about revolutions. And so how does that affect learning when instead of going to Encyclopedia Britannica, we can go directly to a Twitter feed of someone protesting in the streets of Tehran or Cairo? Never before has it been so easy to communicate, create content for the web, connect with others, or to collaborate. And so these are the kind of four main ideas that we want our vision and our community members to really kind of look at and understand how they can begin to do these things. Back to the fundamental change, from the youngest to the oldest to everyone in between, there's no arguing that our lives are fundamentally changing. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, that's up for discussion. And there are things about this technology that are not all positive. But as a community of learners, we hope that we can have these discussions and figure out what is it about this technology that is useful for us and what is it that we should be weary about. So, how do we transform the way we learn? How do we go from a classroom that looked like this to the classrooms that we want for the 21st century? So the second thing that we want to look at as a school is how do we transform the way we learn? How do we challenge outdated modalities? How do we face new realities of what learning can look like? And how do we afford opportunities for collaboration, sharing, publishing, and celebrating new ideas within our community? We no longer have the luxury to choose whether or not we want to participate in a digital life. In no other field is it okay for someone to say, well, I don't really do technology, or technology is not my thing. I can't imagine a surgeon ever saying, I don't want to do that new kind of surgery. It's just part of being a professional. And as educators, we have to realize that we no longer have a choice. We owe it to our students to at least examine the state of life and realize how we can become better learners in order to help our students. So this brings us back to this idea that all members of our community are now learners. Students, teachers, and parents all need to have the knowledge and skills to navigate this new digital landscape. So one way that we are transforming our learning is by bringing every member of our community into the process. And there's no need for us to be intimidated. We need to be excited, like young children are, and we want teachers in our school to be excited about learning new things. And so quickly to recap here, we've said the world is fundamentally changing. We are transforming the way we learn, and the next step is we need to empower our community. And so we're going to take a look now at what that's going to look like. I know this sounds repetitive, but it's important to repeat. Empowering our community means creating a culture of learning for every stakeholder at our school. We would like to transform all aspects of teaching and learning. And a lot of these things we don't even know what they're going to look like, but we want to be able to know if we need to change the way we report, the way we assess, the way we do everything at our school. And only an educated and empowered community can make meaningful choices in these decisions. We are lucky enough to have a remarkable physical learning environment at our school. We have piazzas and lounges, and the way our school is designed is it's intuitive to the way our students act maturely and creatively. So what we would like to do is to design and build an equally dynamic virtual community. And so we sat about for the last several weeks and designed something that we hope will begin to be our dynamic virtual community. This is the first step in a long-term vision. And the first step for us is the collaboration. We're going to be using Google Docs across the school from kindergarten to grade 12 for teachers to begin using the Google Apps. We have a school account where we will start laying out our curriculum using Google Sites with every department from K through 12. We will begin using Google Docs to design larger units based within each department and collaborative unit planning within the larger scope of departments. So Google Docs will be a key for us in designing this dynamic community. We will also be using a WordPress blogging system in order for us to connect, create content, and communicate within our community and hopefully with larger communities regionally and worldwide. We have set up blogs for our elementary school, our middle school, our high school. We've worked with creating grade level blogs to keep students informed of activities and even departmental blogs, like this is our math department blog here. All teachers and students will be given their own blogs starting from grade 4 up, and we're really excited about how this is going to allow our community to connect, create content, and communicate with each other, and hopefully soon you. So, these lofty goals of empowering our community, there's a few things we've decided that our school needs to be committed to doing in order to make sure this is a success. The first, we would like to keep up with technological advances in education. We would like to be on the cutting edge of what's new and exciting and happening, not just with gadgets and tools, but with pedagogical advancements. By being tuned into things like the Horizon Report, as well as conferences and what everyone else is doing worldwide and in the region. We are committed to recruiting innovative teachers. We would like SWA and JWA to be a place where teachers who share our vision would like to come and participate and contribute to what we're trying to do at our school. And we're looking for cutting-edge teachers who would like to change the way they interact with their students and their community. We would like our school to be a center for professional development, both in-house for our teachers and regionally. We look forward to inviting speakers and experts from outside of our school to help our community grow professionally. And we understand that we have to have an opportunity for all of our teachers to gain this guidance. It's one thing to recruit new and innovative teachers, but the teachers we have on staff, we understand that we all come from different perspectives and we all have different abilities, and we need to figure out how we can all negotiate this digital environment. And there's several ways that this can look, but basically what we want our teachers and community members to understand is that we all start in different places, and we would like to all end up in the same place eventually, but the main idea is that we move forward and we grow based on each individual's starting point and where they would like to go, until we eventually reach a place of transformation where we are able to do things with technology that we were not able to do without technology. So in order to empower our community, we want to encourage and support each community member to move along their own journey. So, recapping one more time, we had our the world is fundamentally changing. We would like to transform the way we learn, and we like to empower our community. So finally, how does this look when we come into our ingenious digital citizens? What does that look like to be an ingenious digital citizen? So as we look at what a digital citizen looks like, one of the main things we wanted to emphasize is that it's not just the students that we're looking to guide into this new digital environment. We wanted to make sure that parents and teachers are asking themselves some very important questions. So we finished off the presentation asking the staff some very simple questions, and I will go from there. And the answers to these questions are the goals that we are setting of what it means to be a digital citizen at our school. Really, all we're looking for are people who answered yes to this question, who are willing to take that step to ask themselves, where am I as a learner? What skills and understandings do I need? And how am I going to get to where I want to go? So if vision statements and technology and all these things seem a little convoluted and difficult to understand, the hope was that this presentation could clarify and give us a vision that we can all work towards as our school. This is what we've come up with. So thank you for watching, and back to our staff at our school and anyone else, I hope that you're ready to join us into creating exciting and dynamic and new, innovative and creative institutions and places of learning.